Hello, I hope everyone is doing alright. In this video, we are going to start our series of lectures on Excel. It is intended to cover 3 chapters on Excel to get you familiar with the application of Excel features in business. In the current chapter, we will be focusing on financial functions such as PMT and PV, data tables, and amortization schedules. The PMT function, which stands for payment, enables us to determine a monthly payment for a loan, and the PV function allows us to calculate the present value of an investment. The Excel PMT function is a financial function that calculates the payment for a loan based on a constant interest rate, the number of periods, and the loan amount. For example, if you are applying for a 2-year car loan with an annual interest rate of 7% and the loan amount of $30,000, a PMT formula can tell you what your monthly payment will be. This chapter also covers cell protection, hiding and unhiding rows, columns, sheets, and etc. Cell protection ensures that users do not change values inadvertently that are critical to the worksheet. Hiding portions of a workbook lets you show only the part of the workbook that the user needs to see. Now let's get into the project. In this project, we are going to follow guidelines to create a worksheet in Excel as shown in this slide. Federal Credit Union is a financial institution that provides mortgage or loan for homes or other type of properties. The credit union's chief financial officer has asked for a workbook for customers and loan officers that calculates mortgage payment information, and it will also display an amortization schedule and display a table that show a mortgage payment for varying interest rates. To ensure that customers and loan officers do not delete the formulas in the worksheet, she also asked that cells in the worksheet be protected so that they cannot be changed accidentally. This document shows the requirements for developing the worksheet for Federal Credit Union. It includes the needs, source of data, calculation, and special requirements. For example, in the needs, we need to determine the monthly payment, total interest, and total cost for a mortgage. We also need to show a data table that answers what if questions based on changing interest rate and highlight the rate in the data table that matches the actual interest rate. Sources of data are mostly supplied by credit union, and it includes interest rate and term of mortgage, and also it includes the item to be purchased, price, down payment, and etc. And we need to perform some calculations. For example, mortgage payment, it equals price minus down payment, monthly payment, and etc. All these information and calculation formulas are going to be given to you in order to develop such worksheet. So in this video, we will be developing the first part of uh, this project. This project includes 3 parts: the mortgage payment calculator. We can divide it into 3 sections: mortgage payment calculator. On the upper left side, the varying interest rate, the schedule data table. On the lower left side, this part. And the third part is the amortization schedule on the right side. So in this video, we will be developing the first part, mortgage payment calculator. And in the next lecture, we will go through the other part of the mortgage worksheet. Now let's go to our workbook. We are going to use this layout to develop our mortgage calculator. So we need to develop a table with these items: date, item, price, down payment, loan amount, and etc. So first I'm going to define a title for this table. First I'm going to select these four cells and merge them to make it as the title of our project. Its title is Mortgage Payment Calculator. Payment Calculator. So I'm going to select this cell and go to the style sheet, and for example let's use heading 1 as the style of this part. So now we have to define our data fields: date, item, price, date, item, price, down payment and loan amount, payment, loan amount. For the second part we have rate, term, monthly payment, rate, term, monthly payment, total interest and total cost. And total cost. I'm going to select this column and make it wider, and the same for this column, so the text can fit into the cells. Let's make this column wider as well, and column F. So for date I'm going to use this function, the current date. We have this function now. I'm going to right click on this cell to change the format of this cell. Click Format Cell. I'm going to select date and then scroll down and select this format for the date. Item, let's say we're going to provide loan for house. Price, let's say it is $369,000. Down payment, let's say $75,000, and loan amount. These are all dollar values. I'm going to select these cells and then right click and then make it as currency with 2 decimal places. Okay, and then I'm going to select the entire column and then align it to the left. And also monthly payment and total interest and total cost should also be currency data type. Select this one, currency with 2 decimal places. Let's say our rate is 3.375. So again, we have to define the correct data type for this variable. I'm going to select percentage with 3 decimal places. Okay. 3.375. Let's say the mortgage term is 15 years and monthly payment and etc. So we have to use the formulas to calculate the loan amount and monthly payment and etc. One way to use these kind of formulas and refer to these cells is to provide uh, the row and column name. For example, here is D8. The other name is to define cell name. Worksheets often um, have column titles at the top of each column and row titles to the left of each row that describe the data within the worksheet. You can use these titles within the formulas when you want to refer to the related data by name. A cell name is often created for column and row titles. You can also define descriptive names that are not column titles or row titles to represent cells, range of cells, formulas, and etc. And names are global to the worksheet, which means the name assigned to a cell or cell range on the worksheet in a workbook can be used on other sheets. So to be able to refer to these values later on in other worksheets and also in the current worksheet, I'm going to define name for these values and variable. One way is to select each of these cells, highlight these cells, and go to the formula and define name. Create from selection. So the left column is going to be the title. So it just takes the right cell as the value and left column as the title. The next for item, if we click on name manager, I've already defined some names. Let me delete all these names and start it over. For example, for date, select it, create from name, left column. For item, so if we click on name manager, you will see that we have two variables. Date then is going to be the name of the new variable, and its value is May 30th 2021, and it refers to the sheet 2 and D4. And the same for item, its value is going to be house, and it refers to the sheet, to this sheet, cell D5, which is this cell. So it's going to be much easier to use these names and variable names in kind of complex formulas and worksheets. So I'm going to do the same for the other variables, I'm going to select these parts, create from selection. So we have the other variables, and for these two columns, I'm going to highlight it first and then create from selection, and it is going to automatically create new formulas. So now we have defined our variables, their names, and where they're referring to. So now we can use these formulas. For example, for the loan amount equals price minus down payment. Okay, so these are our constant values, rate and term. For the monthly payment, we are going to use formulas provided by the worksheet. So for the monthly payment, I'm going to use payment function, PMT function. Excel considers the value returned by the PMT function to be a debit and therefore returns a negative number as the monthly payment. To display the monthly payment as a positive number, we begin the function with negative sign instead of equal sign. So equals PMT function. It has these fields. We have to define the rate, number of payment, and loan amount, present value. So to be able to calculate the monthly interest rate, I'm going to divide rate by 12. Next field is number of payments, which is going to be 12 times term. All these formulas are going to be given to you. And for the present value, it's going to be the loan amount. And then close. So the monthly payment is going to be with these input values. It's going to be around $2,000. Now we have to calculate the total interest and total cost. For the total interest, we can use this formula, 12 times term times monthly payment minus loan amount. So it equals 12 times term times monthly payment minus loan amount. And the total cost, we can find the formula from this part. Total cost is going to be 12 times term times monthly payment plus down payment. It equals price plus total interest so This is our mortgage payment calculator. So we have already defined some names for our variables, and we can refer to these variables using their names like date, down payment, and etc. And whenever you click on a cell and type equal sign, if you type the first characters of those variables, the rest of the variable is going to show up. For example, for price here. This is how to design mortgage payment calculator using Excel. In the next video, we are going to focus on amortization schedule and varying interest rate schedule.